Today we are going to explain an action mystery thriller movie called The Second. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The film opens with a hitman preparing for the assassination of the U.S. Senator Bob Jeffers. Meanwhile, Bob is discussing with a woman the passing of a law under which it will be mandatory for every American to carry a gun. This amendment in the Constitution has caused people to strike and protest outside Bob's office. The scene then shifts to Vic and John, who are Delta Force leaders. They are tasked to escort Senator Bob out of his office and provide protection by all means. Vic shows up at Bob's office and forcefully takes him out, saying there is a possible bomb threat in the building he's currently in. In the car, they alert Bob he's on the hit list because of his amendments to the Constitution. Unfortunately, the bomber guy traces Bob's phone and opens an attack on their car. They protect Bob and shoot back at the terrorists. Bob and John manage to shoot all the bad guys, but the main guy catches John and puts a gun over his head. Vic becomes confused to see the terrorist wearing his bomb and holds back his gun. John makes the ultimate sacrifice by triggering the bomb on the terrorist. Bob is saved by Vic, while John dies with the bomber. The scene is then cut to some time later. Vic is seen packing up stuff in his Jeep for a trip. He kisses his current wife and goes to pick up Sean, the son of his first wife. Sean is seen losing a fencing match with his classmate Erin, who is the daughter of Supreme Justice Walton. Their college is closing over the Christmas holidays and the hostilities are heading back home. Sean and Erin happen to be the only ones left in the hostel because Vic gets stuck in traffic and Erin is told that her driver is going to pick her up late. Sean's friend Charlie shows up in his room and requests that he fills up his and Erin's form for him so that he can leave for a date. Now, Sean goes to Erin's room to get her signature on the form but ends up helping her pack up her stuff. Outside college, a suspicious man shows up in a fancy car and claims to be Erin Walton's new driver to the security guard. When the guard gets suspicious of him, he shoots him. However, the guard manages to ring the alarm. More cops show up, but the driver shoots them all. Now, he stands for a lookout and lets his team inside the school building. To not get noticed, the team is disguised as janitors with different duties. One of the members is Paula. Soon, Erin comes outside with Sean. Vic also shows up and greets his son. The driver also comes to take Erin's stuff. Erin forgets her laptop in her hostel room, so she runs to get it back. Vic takes a look around and finds the janitors suspiciously looking at him while all wearing the same earpiece that surely janitors can't afford. He tells Sean to stay locked in his Jeep and runs inside the school building to personally see Erin. He approaches Erin and immediately tells her to call her father Walton to confirm if he has sent the new driver. On call, her father refuses to send a new driver. Paula tracks Erin's phone and hears Erin's conversation with her father. She uses jammers to cut the communication means around the entire building. Erin's call with her father cuts. Sean's call with Charlie cuts down too. He finds it uncommon and steps out of the Jeep. Meanwhile, Justice Walton worries for his daughter and tries calling her, but the call goes to voicemail. Back on the abduction site, Paula is told to kill the lights in the school building. Sean enters the school building and starts looking for his dad. Meanwhile, Vic quickly gets down on the ground and tells Erin to do the same because he is trained for situations like this. He peeps out of the window and sees multiple people on a lookout. He tells Erin to walk beside him. One of the janitors shows up outside Erin's room and finds her gone. Paula then traces Erin's phone GPS and finds her location on the 4th floor. The driver calls Erin to come down so they don't run late on their schedule. Erin points out that there was no schedule to begin with. The driver cuts the act and tells Erin to put Vic on the call. The driver threatens Vic to come out of the school building within 5 minutes or else his life will be jeopardized by the highly advanced operators he has with him. As the call gets cut, Vic takes Erin with her. Sean finds a janitor and asks him if he's seen his father anywhere in the building. The janitor claims of not seeing his father, but he insists on looking out for him. As they take the elevator, the janitor tries to strangle Sean, not knowing he's a trained fighter too. Sean uses his fast reflexes and overpowers the man. Sean gets out of the elevator. He panics, but Vic shows up and effortlessly stabs the janitor until he passes out. He then takes his gun. Meanwhile, Justice Walton gets alerted of Director Phillips' arrival at his place. Philip happens to be his old college friend and the director of the CIA. Philip reveals that he has Erin kidnapped, and if Walton doesn't do what he says, he will have Erin assassinated. Back on Vic's side, he takes the kids to the library. He takes away their phones so their location doesn't get traced. He gives Sean the gun and goes to the gym alone to find a payphone and call help. Now, Paula traces the phones that are with Vic and alerts a teen member of the Prey heading to the ground floor. The guy stands outside the elevator door and waits for Erin and Vic. Vic tricks him by hanging onto the roof. He takes him off guard and snatches his gun. When the driver asks for his status, he doesn't reply. Paula looks Vic up on her tech and finds out about him. She calls the driver and tells him the classified information that is not normally on the web. Driver uses the comm to alert everyone of Vic was a highly trained Delta Force operator and an ex-military major who should not be taken lightly. Sean and Aaron also hear everything on the comm. Sean is surprised by this information because Vic had not told him about his work. Here, Aaron realizes Sean is bleeding, so she takes him to her room to bandage his wound. Vic goes to the gym and keeps the bad guy around him. When he calls the CIA for help, he finds out the CIA itself is behind the abduction, meaning there is no help. Philip answers the call and realizes Vic what he's gotten himself into. Hearing this, Vic gets distracted for a moment. The bad guy seizes the opportunity and opens an attack. He gives Vic a real tough time, but Vic manages to strangle him with gym equipment and take his life. The janitor, who got stabbed by Vic earlier, now gains consciousness and goes to check on Aaron in her room. He finds Aaron standing there with a hot curling iron. When he leans forward to catch her, Sean puts the gun over his head from behind the door. He overpowers Sean and picks a fight with him. In the fight, Aaron puts the hot iron on the bad guy's face. The man becomes furious and chokes Aaron very firmly. Sean picks up the gun and points it at the man. The man warns him of what he's getting himself into and runs away from there. Meanwhile, on Walton's side, Philip manipulates Walton and tells him to take the decision in Bob's favor, but Walton tries to convince him that the jury will find his sudden decision duress and will toss it out. Philip pressures him by reminding him he still has his daughter and will not hesitate to shoot her. Meanwhile, Paula traces Vic and commands the snipers to shoot at Vic. The snipers take the shot and report that they have successfully shot him. Sean and Aaron hear this on the comm while hiding. Aaron doesn't want to trouble Sean, so she comes out and surrenders herself. The bad guy tries to hurt her, but Sean shows up with a gun. He hesitates shooting at him. Luckily, Vic shows up from behind and shoots the bad guy. There, they randomly find the hostel keeper Neil, someone Aaron and Sean trust. He tells them about a secret tunnel that can take them out of the building. He takes everyone toward the old elevator. A gunman keeps Vic distracted by continuously shooting in their direction. Neil and Aaron get on the elevator, but Sean stands behind his father, saying he doesn't want to lose him. Here, the plot takes a twist. Neil turns out to be a sold-out who hands Aaron to the driver and Paula right as they get out of the elevator. Neil asks the driver for his money, but he blows his brains out with his cane and takes Aaron away. Paula sets up a bomb in the elevator and sends it back to the ground floor. Vic sees the bomb and runs away with Sean. Meanwhile, the driver sends Walton a video of Aaron screaming in pain. Vic and Sean survive the explosion and get out of the building to help Aaron. Sean comes out and directly shoots at the driver. Vic knows Paula is on the roof with a sniper pointed at Sean, so he runs to fight Paula. The driver gets in his car and flees. Sean runs after them and finds his bike parked on the front. He starts his bike and chases them. The driver instructs his team to wind up and follow him. Vic jumps off the roof and lands on their van. While Sean chases the driver, Vic gets inside the van and knocks out the driver and the passenger. As he fights the third guy, the van loses control and hits another car. This causes a huge explosion. Sean also falls off his bike. The driver comes out of his car, shoots Sean's shoulder, and takes him away. Vic survives the explosion, sees Paula's tracking device, and finds out Walton is heading his way. He takes a gun and waits for him. Meanwhile, the driver meets Philip at the Port where they are expecting Walton. Philip gets mad at the driver for bringing Sean along. The driver says he wants revenge from Vic, so he got his son here. Philip orders Paula to drown Aaron and throw her corpse in the boat and tells his men to get rid of Sean. Now, Walton finds Vic on his way near the van crash with a sign that says Vic's here for help. At the port, Walton comes out of his car for a body inspection and triggers the bomb in his car as a way to distract Philip's agents. Vic shows up on his son's bike with a gun. One by one, he takes out all the agents and gets to the driver. Meanwhile, Sean fights off two heavily armed agents and Aaron gets into a fence fight with Paula. Sean takes down the agents and runs to rescue Aaron. He shoots Paula and shares a kiss with Aaron. Walton also shows up and reunites with his daughter. Vic gets into an intense fight with the driver. The gas chambers leak and cause a huge explosion. Vic falls out of the window with the pressure and joins his son and Aaron. Philip shows up in the end and tries to manipulate Walton, but Vic surprises him by pointing a gun at him. Philip is sure that he cannot be shot at because of his title, but Vic doesn't hesitate. Philip walks away from the site, warning Walton of much bigger threats. Philip goes back to his home and finds the driver waiting for him. The driver is all burnt up and blames Philip for the disaster. He shoots Philip and takes his life. At the end of the film, Sean is treated in a hospital with Vic by his side. Aaron shows up with a bottle of wine. Vic leaves his son with Aaron. When Vic reaches the lobby, he finds thugs who have her wife hostage. He starts fighting them off and the film ends. Subscribe to see more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.